Super Mayhem.
Hello friends, Tim here again, and welcome to another quick Super Mayhem video game hacking type thing. Released on February 21st, 1986, The Legend of Zelda was received with critical acclaim. It sold over 6.5 million copies, and was actually the first NES title to sell over 1 million copies. Not bad, hey? The game also placed first on the Players Poll Top 30 in Nintendo Power's first edition, and continued to dominate the list well into the early 1990s. It even features in the Guinness World Records Gamers Edition, which has awarded the Legend of Zelda series 5 world records, including highest rated game of all time, and also the first game to include a battery saving feature. So I guess it's no surprise to anyone that this first Zelda game led to many spin-off games, had its own media, and even had its own linear form of games. Well, maybe linear is a strong word, as there's a lot of theories and debates as to how the actual Zelda series links up, but it definitely inspired many further games, such as one of my favourites, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And heck, Link even appears in Mario Kart. You know you've made it to stardom when you appear in a Mario Kart game. So, what else can we say about this celebrated gem? Not much I guess, so let's try and break it, Mayhem style. That's right friends, it's Game Genie hacking time, and you know that means serious business.
So, where do we start? I guess the official Game Genie book is probably best. There are a variety of awesome codes that come stock standard, such as AVVLAUSZ, which makes it so you don't take any damage from anything. I had a lot of fun with this code, as you get to keep your shooting sword and you can breeze by most of the game without any hassles. Sure, it takes away a lot of the challenge, but if you're a sissy like me, it makes the game quite fun. There are another couple of stock standard handy codes, such as starting the game with 8 or 16 hearts. But there isn't much to say about these ones, except they can make the game a little bit easier. The other classics include not losing rupees when buying, wear a blue or red ring when starting the game, and even all items available for free. My favourite however is the infinite bomb cheat, SZNVOVK. One problem though, you actually need to acquire a bomb before this code comes into effect. But don't worry, we have a non-standard cheat for that. The code NGAZOG gives you a bomb instead of a sword right at the beginning of the game, meaning you can blast away enemies without the need for that pesky sword. This kinda leads us into the wonderful world of non-standard Game Genie codes, and when it comes to Zelda, there are quite a few useful and also not so useful ones. KGEOOO is a good example of a not so useful one. When you enter caves and speak to people, weird garble sounds are dispensed into your ear holes until you enter another dungeon or somewhere where someone talks to you. TVLNXX is another fairly useless code, but it does provide some amusement, so I had to include it in this video. In a nutshell, once you acquire the sword, Link starts dancing once he attacks and then gets stuck in place. Not the most useful bit of hacking, but it does provide some comic relief. Some cheats make the game harder, like the code POOEEEAO, which results in a ton more enemies appearing in the game. It does slow down the game a bit and glitch out a little bit, but it is a good one if you find the regular Legend of Zelda to be a bit too easy. But I wouldn't recommend it for a noob like me though, even with my 16 Hearts of Glory. There are actually a few classic enemy related cheats one can use with the Game Genie. One such example is SXPAPO, which unlike the previous code makes life a bit easier. This one makes it so most enemies can barely move. Other enemies act like normal though, so watch out and remember it's dangerous to go alone. The code OEEEEOU leads to some interesting enemy results as well. In fact, this code changes around enemies in all kinds of weird ways. Its effects are different each time you use the code, but in my experience it sometimes changed Octoroks into Tektites, but then Octoroks make a comeback in later screens. Sometimes enemies don't spawn at all, and occasionally you will get these weird blue random dark nuts. One YouTube user by the name McHenryNick got some really crazy results where enemies were all kinds of glitchy and flickery, and even Princess Zelda changes from some kind of odd blob into what Nick describes being an alien. Pretty wacky stuff this code brings. Another interesting code related to enemies is IZLZZZ. This is a bit of a weird one. Whilst playing the game, touching trees and or rocks, they suddenly become Armoses. This gets pretty chaotic as you can imagine, as you get swarmed by these Armos buggers to the point where you're surrounded and well, yeah, you die. Speaking of trees, there is this one cool code known as the Lumberjack code. So how does it get its name? Well, when you enter KEOZSPKG, just about every tree is gone.
Now we're playing Zelda!
This cheat is actually quite cool though, as you can cover the map a lot easier than you normally would be able to. However, it can lead to getting stuck in rocks and such, as you are able to move the screen up where you would normally be blocked by trees. This last code is actually quite useful. If you enter UGANGA in your Game Genie screen, when you attack, Link slides around instead of stopping. This is a subtle cheat, but it's actually quite handy, as usually Link stops moving when he attacks, causing you to potentially get bombarded by enemies. With this cheat you can just slide around like you are Donkey Kong on a banana peel. So there you have it friends, some truly interesting, helpful and bizarre Zelda Game Genie codes. Feel free to play around and combine some of these codes, you never know what might happen. And that's really it for today friends. I hope you enjoyed hacking the Legend of Zelda on the NES with me. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, smash that thumbs up button, it really helps. Leave a comment if there is a code I left out or something. Stay tuned for the Luigi clap and I'll catch you soon. A huge thanks to Jacob Clark for being our first Mayhem supporter. Without the likes of him I wouldn't be running. If you want to join Team Mayhem, please consider taking a look at our Patreon page in the description below, for your chance to get some exclusive behind the scene looks at Super Mayhem, and even access to some sweet downloads. If you were interested in becoming a little more Linkish yourself, take a look over at supermayhem.com. We currently have a sale on the classic Hylian shield and sword. Look your best and defeat your enemies with these awesome replica Zelda items. Link in the description. Previously on Super Mayhem. If you could rename Cappy, what would it be called? Today the Luigi clap goes to Curtis Bradley for this slappy idea. It seems fitting as I hear Curtis once threw a cap so hard it literally slapped some poor lad in the gob. So that's pretty good as well as this comment. And today we will leave you with the question, if you could add a new enemy to Zelda, what would it be called? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and the best, most creative answer will be featured in one of our next videos. Until next time friends, I'll catch you soon.